up here, we're going to click the create button up here next to Scratch, and we're going to make a new Scratch project. So right now, is everyone here? Okay, so right now, this is a sprite. A sprite is this thing we're going to move in the maze. So you know how there are like different there are lines, and the sprite can't touch the lines. I mean, the thing can't touch the lines. The sprite is going to be that thing. It's the thing we're going to move through the lines. So the sprite you get right now is a cat. We're going to delete that sprite by clicking the trash can button next to it. And we're going to click here where it says choose a sprite, and we're going to pick a new sprite. You could pick whatever sprite you want from all of these sprite options. I'm going to pick this little hippo because I think it's a little cute. So once you click that, the sprite should appear in the box. I'll give you guys like a minute to pick a sprite.
Wait, where do you find choose your sprite?
So at the bottom over here, do you see my mouse?
Okay.
So you click there, and then a bunch of sprite options should pop up.
Okay.
Does everyone have a sprite? Okay, so now we need to make the sprite move. So to start a game or a project in Scratch, we click this green button, this green flag. So we're going to click events over here at the corner, and we're going to drag this button. Let me zoom in. It says when green flag clicked. So to start the program, you click the green flag. So whatever blocks are attached to this block is going to happen when you click the green block. So notice how you can attach different things to the block. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to move this sprite with arrow keys, the 4 arrow keys, up, down, left, right. So first, we need to grab something called an if-then statement. So drag it over and connect it to this when flag clicked block. So what an if statement does is it checks if something is true. So for example, like if you click the up arrow, we want the sprite to look up and we want it to move. So we're going to go into sensing, and we're going to grab this one, the one that says when key space pressed. But instead of space, we're going to click this and set it to up arrow. This way, we're coding for what happens when you click the up arrow. And we're going to drag this inside this diamond looking thing. So then we're going to go into motion. We're going to grab point in direction, and then we're going to put it in here. So far, when you click the green flag, the code checks if you click the up arrow, and if you do, then it points in the direction 90. So does everyone see this thing over here, the direction 90? So when you click on that, notice how when you change this, the numbers down here change. So we want the sprite to look up, and for it to look up, the number is 0 degrees. So when you set this direction to 0, it looks up. So we want it to point in direction 0. So we change this 90 to a 0. So now when you click the up arrow, it's looking up. But we also want it to move. So we're going to grab this move 10 steps, and 10 is too much. So we're going to make it 5. Okay, so now does everyone understand what an if block is? So like an if then block? So if you click on the up arrow, then it points in direction 0, which is pointing up, and it moves 10 steps. Now we're going to repeat this thing 3 more times for each of the arrow keys. So we're going to go back into control. We're going to grab the if then statement. We're going to go into sensing. And here we're going to grab the if key space pressed. But this time, instead of the up arrow, we're going to do the down arrow, which is right under the up arrow option. So now if the down arrow is pressed, then now whatever we put inside here happens if you click the down arrow. So we go into motion and we click point in direction 90 and we drag that over. So going back to the direction circle over here at the bottom left, at the center right, we need to make it look down when we click the down arrow. So what degree would be looking down? That would be 180. So when we click the down arrow, we're going to change the point in direction to 180. So that way it looks down, because when the direction is 180, the sprite is facing downwards. And we're going to drag the move option and we're going to make it move 5 blocks because 10's too much. And now we're going to repeat this 2 more times. We're going to go into control. This time, let's drag 2 blocks so that we do both of them at the same time. So if then blocks, we're going to go into sensing and we're going to drag both of these. We're going to drag 2 of these. So let's make the top one for the right arrow. So you click set this one to right arrow and you click set this one to left arrow. It's very important that you don't mix up the right and the left arrow, because then when you click the right arrow, it'll do what you want to happen when you click the left arrow. So does everyone have this so far? Is everyone good? Okay, so now you go into motion and point in direction 90. We put this into both of these. So notice how when you set this to 90, it's looking right. And when we click the right button, we want it to look right. So we're going to set this one to 90. And the bottom one is also going to be 90, even though it's for the left arrow, because notice how when you make it face that way, the sprite is upside down and we don't want it to be upside down. So it's going to, both of these are going to be point in direction 90. And now we're going to get the move 10 blocks and put it in both of these. And we're going to set it to 5. So now we have the code for making the sprite move. But when you click the green flag and you move the up, down, left, right arrows, nothing happens. And that's because this block right now, the second you click the green flag, it checks if you're touching the up, down, left, or right arrow. But we don't want that because we want to be able to move the sprite whenever we want. So inside the control section, there's a forever block. This means when we put this inside, make sure that the forever block collects all 4 of the if blocks, if statement things. So when you click the green arrow, it checks if these keys are being clicked forever. So now when you click on the green arrow and you move your keys, notice how you can move it around. But the left arrow, when you move it, even when you click the left arrow, it still moves 5 steps forward. We need to switch that to -5 because when it moves 5 steps, it moves forward. And when we want it to move backwards, so we do -5. So does everyone have this code right now? And do you guys understand what these blocks do? So like the point in direction, the forever block, do you guys understand what they do? Okay, so now when you click move your sprite around, notice how you can move in any direction. And when you move it up and down, it faces that way. So that doesn't look all weird. So now we're going to set up the maze. So like the actual maze with the lines and everything. So the background, notice how the background is all just a white screen for this. The background here in Scratch, the background is called a backdrop. And we need to change the backdrop to have black lines. So we're going to click here, this section, and it's going to take us to this place where all our code is gone. Because here we get to code for the backdrop, but we're not going to code for that. And we're going to click up here where it says backdrops. And using the line tool over here, it looks like a line, we're going to draw different lines. So like we're going to draw the path for the maze, for the sprites. So I'll give you guys like 5 minutes to draw yourself a maze. Is everyone here right now and able to draw a maze? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Okay, so just have fun and draw your maze. I'm going to draw mine too. Also, if your sprite is too big, like mine can't fit inside those lines. When you click on the sprite, can everyone click on the sprite? So when you do, look at this thing. It says size and it says 100. The smaller, you can change this number to whatever you want. And the smaller you make the number, the smaller the hippo is going to be. I mean, the sprite. For my case, in this case, my sprite is a hippo. So if I make this 10, the sprite is going to be so small you could barely see it. I'm going to make my sprite 25 for this video. So that, actually I'm going to make it 30 so that it fits in between the lines. Because if your sprite can't fit, then there's no point of the maze. And then once you adjusted the size of your hippo or your sprite, you can click this button that says backdrop, this thing at the corner, and you can continue editing your maze. If you make any mistakes, there's a button here where you can erase things. Like if I don't want this line, I can quickly erase it, just so you guys know. I'll give you guys like 2 more minutes to finish your maze. Also, you can test to see if your sprite is big enough to fit through the mazes. So you can use the arrow keys to see if you can complete the maze without touching any of the black lines. If you can, then your sprite's small enough. So is everyone done with drawing their maze? Give me a thumbs up if you're done. Okay, so now we want to make a finish line. So to finish the maze, the sprite should be able to go somewhere. So you can either make a square or a circle. I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to draw a circle and make it the finish line. But for your circle, make sure that, you know where it says outline, click this button for the outline so that your outline has no lines. So that your outline is clear. Make sure to do this because it's really important. So you click here and you click this button. So after you do that, you can make whatever color you want. So I'll make my finish line red, and then you're going to make a circle at the end of the maze. So like this, or a rectangle, your choice. So this is the finish line. So when your sprite touches that, it's done with the maze. So now let's click on our hippo again, our sprite, so that we can continue editing it, coding for it. So you're right now we're at the costume mode. Click code, and now we can see the code for the sprite. So right now, if you move your sprite, it can touch and go everywhere while going through the black lines. But we don't want it to go through the black lines because then the maze isn't going to be any fun. So to fix that, we're going to make it so that when the sprite touches anything that's the color black, it's going to go to the start of the maze. So for that, first we're going to go into the events section, and we're going to grab when green flag clicked, and we're going to drag it over here. Next, we're going to scroll down into the control section, and we're going to grab an if-then block. And we're going to put it inside a forever block because just like last time, remember when we had a problem because the code only checked if you're clicking the buttons once, if we didn't have a forever block. So that forever block is really important. So now, then this part is blank. We're going to put something in that by going into the sensing option, which is blue. And we're going to pull the second block that says touching color. And we're going to click on the color. For mine, it's pink. And we're going to drag the brightness, the third row, and we're going to put it all the way to the left. We're going to drag it all the way to the left, so that the color is black. So right now, the code says, when the flag is clicked, check if the color black, if the sprite is touching the color black. And if it is, then, and whatever's inside this section is going to happen. So now everyone go into the motion section and bring your sprite over to the start. Wait, actually, no. Pull your sprite all around, like bring your sprite to different spots of the map. And notice how the numbers here, does everyone see these numbers? They're constantly changing as I move my sprite around. That's because these numbers change the coordinates of the sprite. So when it's here, the numbers are this. But when the hippo's here, the numbers are this. So bring your sprite to the start position, the place where you want it to go to start the maze. For me, I'm gonna make it right here. And now notice how the coordinates here, the numbers, they changed to those coordinates. So if touching the color black, we want the sprite to go to these coordinates. So now if you click the green flag and you touch anything that's black, your sprite is immediately going to go to the start position. So you can't touch the colors black. You have to go past them in order to beat the maze. Does everyone have that? Okay. So now notice how when you click the green flag, your sprite just stays in its normal position. We don't want it to do that. So we want our sprite to go to the start position every time you click the green flag, because if your sprite is all the way here and you click the flag and start the code, then that's going to be cheating because it already passed through the maze. So we're going to grab a go-to and we're going to put it right here. And we're going to change these coordinates to these coordinates, the ones in the other go-to, because these are the coordinates to the start position. So the place where you want your sprite to start. So for mine, it's -105 and 131. So now bring your sprite wherever you want and click the green arrow. And no matter what, your sprite is going to go to that place whenever you click the green flag. It's always going to be at the start position. Does everyone have that? Is everyone good right now? Okay, so now the sprite can't touch the black lines, but what happens if it touches the red circle, which is the ending? It's the finish line. So we need to code for that. The code is going to be similar to this. So we're going to grab a when green flag is clicked from the event section. We're going to scroll down. We're going to grab a forever block. And inside the forever block, we're going to put an if block, an if then block. So when the flag is clicked, it checks forever if whatever is happening here is true. Right now, there's nothing inside here. So we're going to go into sensing and we're going to grab touching color. Right now the color is pink, but we're going to change it to the color of your square or circle. So when you click on this, you're given 4 things. You can either change the color from here, or you can change the saturation or the brightness. We're not going to use any of those. We're going to use this right here. And we're going to click this, and now bring your cursor over here and put it over to the finish line. So put it over to your circle or your square, and then click on it. So now the color here is equal to the color here. And now, so the code says, if you're touching the color red, then, and then we're going to code for inside here. So we want this code, we want the sprite to say, good job, you win, whenever it touches the red block, the red circle. So to do that, to make the sprite talk, we're going to go into looks. And here all the code is purple. So in looks, we're going to drag the first block that says, say hello for 2 seconds. And we're going to click on hello. And instead of hello, we want it to say, good job, you win. So type good job, exclamation mark, you win. I'll give you guys like 2 seconds to do that. And now try and beat your maze and go over to the red circle or rectangle. So notice how when I'm there, it says, good job, you win. And whenever I touch that red circle, it'll say the same thing. And you really beat the maze. So now we have the basic maze. The sprite can move, it can't touch the black lines, and it tells you you win when when you're on the red circle. Now we're going to add a mob, so like an opponent, an obstacle. So we're going to create another sprite. So go into the choose sprite section where you can make a sprite, or choose a sprite, I mean, and then pick a sprite. I'm going to select the beach ball because I want to click the beach ball. So I'll give you guys like 2 minutes to select the sprite. Is everyone good so far? Like, do you guys understand? Do you guys have the sprites? Is all of your code the same as mine? Okay. So now we're going to code for the beach ball. So we want the beach ball to move from here all the way to here. So it's going to be like an obstacle course. The sprite, the hippo, can't touch the beach ball. And we're going to make the beach ball move from here to here. And it's going to do that forever. So we're going to go into the event section, and we're going to get when green flag clicked. And we're going to scroll down, and we're going to grab a forever block and an if then statement block, just like we did with the hippo. And then we're going to go into sensing again, but this time, instead of touching color, we're going to go all the way to the first block in the sensing section that says touching mouse pointer with a question mark. But instead of mouse pointer, we're going to set it to, wait, actually, never mind. I made a mistake. Can you guys, so click on the forever thing and drag it down and then throw it into this place so that you delete that code. My bad. I made a mistake for a sec. I thought we were doing something else. So we're going to make the sprite move from here to here. To do that, first we're going to go into motion, and we're going to get go to and here. So right now, this is the coordinate of the beach ball, because when the beach ball was at that position, we dragged the block. So now we want the beach ball to move all the way across the screen. So bring your ball all the way to the other side of the screen, and then we're going to drag this. Glide 1 second to these coordinates. Now what this does is when you click the green arrow, it glides all the way here. But it does that in 1 second. 1 second is too fast, so I'm going to make mine 3 seconds. So now it takes 3 seconds for the beach ball to go here. And now we're going to make the beach ball go back. So that's moving here, here, and does that forever. So now we're going to grab another glide block, set the time to 3 seconds, and set these coordinates to these coordinates. So 180 and 0. So now when you click on the go button, the green flag, your beach ball is going to move from one side of the screen to the other. But it only does this once. We want it to do this forever. So we're going to go into control and we're going to grab a forever block and put it in here. So now when you click the green flag, it's going to do this forever. Is everyone done with this? Does everyone have the beach ball coded or whatever you guys picked as your sprites? Okay, so now let's click on the hippo again because now we need to make it so that whenever the hippo touches the beach ball, it should go all the way back to the finish line. So we're going to get a when green flag is clicked. We're going to go to the control section and we're going to grab a forever block, and inside it, we're going to have an if then block. So inside the if then, we're going to go into sensing and we're going to grab the first one, the one that says touching mouse pointer. But instead of mouse pointer, we're going to make it beach ball. So now, if it's touching the beach ball, then whatever's inside here is going to happen. And we want it to go all the way to the start coordinates. So everyone click on the green flag so that your sprite, the one that's going to be completing the maze, is at the start coordinates. And now go into motion and grab go to. And it's going to have the coordinates of the start position. So now try and touch the beach ball or whatever you picked. Notice how your sprite goes all the way to the finish line. I mean to the end, to the start line. And now try and beat your maze. So like I'll give everyone 2 minutes to just have fun with their maze and try and beat it. And as you can see, adding the beach ball made the maze harder because now not only can you not touch the black lines, but you also can't touch the beach ball. Almost made it my maze impossible. So now the maze is harder, but I think we should add one more thing. So we're going to pick another sprite. And this time I'm going to make it button number 1. So this green thing. And you can put it wherever you want. I'm going to put mine right here. No, I'm going to put it here. So what we're going to do with this sprite, the third one, is we're going to make it appear for 5 seconds and then disappear. And in those 5 seconds, your sprite, in the 5 seconds that the green button disappears, the sprite is going to have to move and quickly go past it before it reappears. So we're going to first code it so that the button disappears and then comes back. So we're going to go into events, grab the when green flag is clicked, and we're going to go into looks, and we're going to grab the show and then the hide blocks, and we're going to connect them. And then we're going to go into control, and we're going to use a new block called wait 1 second, and we're going to put it in between these. So, but 1 second's too short. Let's make it 3 seconds. So now when you click on the green flag, the sprite is going to wait 3 seconds and then it's going to disappear. And now we're going to put this in a forever block. So now when you click the green flag, the sprite shows. After 3 seconds, it disappears. And then we're going to grab another wait and we're going to set it to 3 seconds again. And now the sprite is going to show up for 3 seconds, disappear for 3 seconds, and then come back for 3 seconds, and then disappear again. And it will do this forever because we put this code inside a forever block. And now we're going to code it so that when the hippo touches the green button, it disappears. I mean, it goes to the start position and it has to restart. So we're going to click on the hippo again. We're going to grab a when green flag is clicked. All of our code starts with a when green flag is clicked because the green flag, when you click the green flag, the program starts. So most of our code is going, probably all of it is going to start with the when green flag is clicked. So now we're going to scroll down, get another forever and if statement. We're basically going to copy whatever we put inside this block, the one for the beach ball, but instead of beach ball, we're going to make it button number 1. So we're going to go into sensing. We're going to get the first one that says touching mouse pointer ? But instead of mouse pointer, we're going to make it button number 1. For you guys, it might be different because you all selected different sprites. And then inside the if statement, we're going to go into motion and we're going to drag the go to with these coordinates. So now try and touch the green button and see if your program works. If you're able to go past or go through the green button without, like if you're able to go through it, then there's something wrong with your code. Does everyone have this? Does your button work? Does your beach ball work? Do you guys have any questions right now? Okay. So now we have a maze. We have a basic maze, but I think we should make it so that the maze, there's a little balloon celebration that happens when the hippo touches the red circle. There should be a little balloon that starts turning into different colors and glowing. So we're going to choose a sprite. This time, make sure to choose balloon number 1 and put it, wait, actually, never mind. Delete balloon number 1. Delete it so that we have this. And now go to backdrop next to choose a sprite, click backdrop and select choose a backdrop. And now we're going to choose party. Does everyone see party? So click on party. So now we're going to go to hippo again. And so when we coded saying if touching red, then say good job, you win, we're going to add to that. And we're going to add a look. We're going to go into the look section and we're going to drag this thing that says switch backdrop to party. So backdrop again in code is the background. It's just a fancy way of saying background. So now whenever the hippo touches the red circle, it's going to switch the backdrop to party. But notice how the maze disappeared because the backdrop is party. To change that, we're going to go into this block where you control the hippo using the up, down, left, right arrow keys. And we're going to grab this block that says switch backdrop to party. But instead of party, we're going to make it backdrop 1. So now try your maze. Try it with everything together. So like with the beach ball, with the button, with the red circle and everything. So when you click on the red circle, it says good job, you win. and then it switches the backdrop to the party thing. But notice how the beach ball and the button are still there, and we don't want them there. So we're going to go into beach ball first. We'll do the beach ball first, and we're going to set it, and we're going to go into events. This time, we're going to drag this when backdrop switches to. Normally, we would have when green arrows click, but this time when backdrop switches to. And we're going to set it to back to party instead of backdrop 1. So now, when the backdrop switches to party, whatever is listed under this is going to happen. And we want it to disappear. So we're going to go into looks, and we're going to drag the hide block. So when it's at the party background, it's going to hide. So now try completing your maze, or actually look at my screen. And when I complete the maze, the beach ball disappeared. And then when I click the green flag again, the beach ball still isn't here. So we're going to go back into the beach ball. We're going to click on its code, and we're going to drag a show block into the when green arrows clicked. Because when the green arrows clicked, we want it to appear. Because when you click the green arrow, the program starts. And now we're going to do something similar to button number 1. So for button number 1, when backdrop switches to party, we're going to make it hide. Okay, so now if you try the map, it should work. So it says, good job, you win. And then you have it like this. And that's the program. So right now you have a maze, and that's like the end of the thing. You have a maze, you have 2 obstacles. One of them moves from left to right across the map. Another one disappears and reappears, and you have to go past it before it appears again. And then you have a special animation when you touch the red block, when you touch the red circle on the finish line.